Hello again, Broncos country.
Really excited to chop up some Broncos with you all this week.
Bourbon, Broncos, and no BS.
It is that time, your favorite time of the week. We're not for the Raiders, Chargers, or Chiefs. So grab your brews and your fantasy league. We got that blue and orange blood that you bleed. Like Lindsay, Sutton, and Judy. We are the Iowa Broncos country.
Orange Weekly, fans, brews, and Broncos news. Hello again, Broncos country. Kev Dan here. Welcome to yet another episode of Bourbon Broncos No BS. If you haven't done so already, grab your drink, grab your bourbon, beer, booze, whatever. Kick back, relax, guys. We are all about talking with you, not at you. So as always, post your comments, questions. Be glad to talk about whatever it is you have on your mind, Broncos wise. And it's going to be a fun show. Broncos upset the Patriots. Cam Newton goes 0-4 against the Broncos. Belichick goes home crying like a baby. And Drew Lock is the youngest quarterback to win in Gillette Stadium. So lots of good things to talk about. And then, of course, you got to look forward to the Kansas City Chiefs game coming up this next weekend. Really quickly, want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Centennial State Insurance Agency. These guys are awesome. Small, long-term business here in Colorado. They're not like some big organization, insurance agency that if you call them, you'll have to wait for 30 minutes on the phone and you get some random person who doesn't care about you. They'll give you that one-on-one personal interaction of just knowing who your insurance agent is. They'll know you. You'll get to talk to them every single time. They'll care about your situation. And they'll be honest with you. I was just shopping around for car insurance the other week, and they straight up told me, hey, we're probably not the best option for you based off your circumstances. So, they're the type of people you want to go to. And I know that they have my business when moving forward, whenever it's optional or optimal. So thanks for them. It's time that we bring on the crew. David, Team Puffball. We're going strong, man.
Absolutely.
Ayla, possible Team Puffball-ish. And then Matt, who is not a team at all. But how y'all doing?
The Puffball's 2-0 right now, Kev.
They are.
That's
they
right.
Are.
So
who's 5-1? Oh.
Go ahead.
There's this guy. It's 5-1.
Oh, sure. Okay. All right. Time to close out Matt's window for the rest.
Exactly. We're gonna move on.
And say hi and bye to Matt.
Yeah, right. We're done.
Dominicanio, Jose, how you doing? Rock, Jose, we got some good people up in here already. Welcome to the show, everyone. So hit that share button for us, hit that react button for us. And love they are all here. So let's start by just kind of getting some initial thoughts on how the Broncos game went this last week. And so, Ayla, you haven't been on the show for a while because traveling and whatnot. We missed you so much. So I'll let you go first.
Yeah, guys, I missed you too. It was pretty sad that I didn't get to join you when the game got pushed by a week because I was looking forward to that. But I guess it is what it is. I feel like I always say that. I didn't think the game was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I actually I saw a lot of things that I liked a lot as far as backup people and putting things together, a Drew Lock returning. I feel like it could have been a lot worse. Plus, we beat the Patriots. Like,
Yeah.
That was a good day.
Listen,
Anybody excited about that, or is everybody just going to tear us apart?
oh no, you don't turn up your nose like Peyton Manning kind of said it earlier. You don't turn up your nose at winning it in Foxborough. Like no matter what the circumstances are, you just gotta take that win and be happy about it every single time.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
What do you think, Matt?
I agree, man. I think it was, thank God for Brendan McManus because,
Oh, yeah. No,
that red zone was a little sketch, but honestly,
Right. Not connecting in the red zone was the default, but that's why they paid McManus good money.
Yeah. I remember when we were chirping McManus getting the extension before Justin Simmons and all that, but it's like right now, let's eat our hats because honestly,
he's been money.
Other than the red zone, I think that the defense showed up. The pressure was on Newton. The coverage was it was fantastic. I think everybody played really, really well on that defensive side of the ball. So that was really fun to watch,
including the defensive play calling, double safety blitz on fourth down to end the game.
The coolness, man, on this.
That was an onion hanger.
I'm telling you, I was right there next to you, David, and the ball snapped, and I blinked, and then there was nothing but a pile of white jerseys right in the middle there. Like it happened that quickly, and I was just, what just happened?
And I think that's Fangio knowing the matchups that he has too. New England lost one of their starting guards during the game. They had a different player at center than they normally had. So the double A gap blitz there to end the game with both safeties coming down. That was, kind of an inspired play call.
The fact that the New England receivers aren't really that good, other than Edelman, who's 47 years old.
Right.
I think you can sacrifice that deep coverage to come in for that pressure. And Fangio is just, I think it was his best play calling game.
It reminded me of the Wade Phillips defense just in that for stretches of that game, they were able to trust their defensive back end to do whatever they needed to do to get pressure up
kind
front.
Like when we had Talib and Harris back there. But speaking of, Ojemudia playing much better week after week. Like he's really coming into his own. Across the board, I think it was just a really great defensive performance. Offensively, moved the ball well. I think Locke's first game back, it was a few hiccups, a few little issues that you expect from your first game back after an injury, but honestly, move the ball well, and we got in the red zone. We just got to finish. But man,
Ojemudia with two of those peanut punches, that was insane. I saw the first one, and I thought that's a really hard, coming from the guy's back and then punching the football out like that. He's hard to do once per game, let alone twice. And the defense got one of them. It was really, really impressive to see him step up.
Absolutely, great game.
Rock, good question. Where do we stand as of now? So we are third in the AFC West, but with our 2-3 record, Raiders are 3-2. So not more than a couple wins away from getting that number 2 spot. Obviously, we have yet to play the Raiders at all. We have the first Kansas City game coming up, and then the Chiefs or the Chargers a couple times. So this division is really wide open for anyone, even the Chiefs. They lost to the Raiders. Then who else are they going to lose to?
Nobody.
Okay.
Okay. See, this is the problem. The answer could be nobody. It could happen.
Could be.
Yeah, it could be.
But I doubt it.
Right,
They're going to lose again. It's just inevitable.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe 2-3 games this year, but I don't know. I think the Broncos we're playing them the first time this weekend. This is a team I think is built to keep up with the Chiefs, just like the Raiders are built to keep up with the Chiefs. They have fast receivers. You throw it deep, a solid offensive line. And if Hamler's healthy and Judy's healthy, and if we had Sutton, I'd be maybe singing a different tune. But I think we have the offensive players to keep up. The tight end depth, Albert O played really great against the Patriots. His first time showing, he looked really good as a rookie. So here's really good. We have the running back depth. Once Gordon sobers up from his hangover there, he'll be able to line up again and do some damage. So I don't expect us to win this upcoming weekend, but that second matchup, perhaps, we might go 1-1 with the Chiefs, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, we didn't have Gordon, but Royce Freeman held his own, and it's what we've been talking about all year of how awesome it is we have Royce Freeman as our number 3 running back. Mm-hmm. And I think the split was 60% Lindsay, 40% Royce Freeman. And so, when he went out there, he did a good enough job to it wasn't like, oh, Philip Lindsay's not on the field, they're definitely going to pass kind of thing. He was able to go out there and still keep the defense on their toes.
I'll tell you one area where we're going to really see an improvement when Melvin Gordon is back is pass protection. When the running back is asked to pass protect, there is a noticeable difference when Maurice Freeman has to do it and Melvin Gordon has to do it. I noticed at least one just completely missed blitz pickup by Royce Freeman that led directly to a sack in the fourth quarter. So it's just, I think that's one area where you're really going to be happy we have Melvin Gordon back this weekend.
Yeah.
Well, in the game of playing them off each other too, because that was what everybody was looking forward to at the beginning of the season, and having both of them, and so to see that dynamic finally play out, I think that'll be pretty good.
Yeah.
100%.
Just the things that they give you that they can do if they're on the field together, what they offer. It's a challenge for any defense.
The obvious surprise this year with Garrett Bowles.
Mm.
Like, I'm still not ready.
Oh, is that like the Kevin thing? He's like, go, Garrett.
No, so here's the thing.
Right,
I'm starting to question why am I not believing in Garrett Bowles at this point? You know, like
what's
before
not to
it was
believe in?
I'm not quite there, but now I'm like, why wouldn't I? He was again the
He's
number
done a
one
really good-
ranked offensive player from this last week. I mean, how many times do you have to be the best or one of the top 2 or 3 best players of the offense?
It's 26 times.
26. That's
26 times.
That's a lot of
26.
times. Has Patrick Mahomes done it 26 times?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, has he played?
Yeah.
Has he played 26 games?
Yeah.
Okay, then he's done it 26 times.
He's
okay.
Yeah, when you win an MVP in a Super Bowl and you throw 5,000 yards and 50, those counts as times.
Oh, that gives you like more times than normal. Okay.
Let's
All
not
right.
talk
It's
about Kermit the Frog.
Ugh, well, we're gonna
I
have
know.
to. We'll get to it.
So then there was 3 of us.
Oh, look, he's gone. Oh.
Well, I just
sucks. Oh no.
it's all well and good to pull out the Kermit the Frog poster and forget conveniently that you're a Falcons fan first, but we did not forget.
I didn't forget either, man. I'm just riding this wave of sucking and hoping to get Trevor Lawrence, man. At this point,
can you imagine if Matt's favorite teams had Patrick Mahomes and Trevor Lawrence at quarterback? Like, it's just
No, let's not imagine that.
ugh.
That's not okay. Robert, will Gordon be suspended? Yeah.
Yes.
At some point, but
some point.
What we normally see with the NFL is they wait for the legal system to play itself out unless it's really, really egregious, like this guy can't be on the field anymore. So I would expect them to wait and see how the court case goes, and then probably suspend him after that.
Is it a 3-game minimum?
I think so. But remember last year, Kareem Jackson wasn't suspended until the end of the season, and his infraction was like over the summer, I think, or even earlier in the year.
Keith, they're awesome. Touche. And we'll have to talk about him near the end of the show, second half of the show, right? Unfortunately.
It'll happen.
So we keep saying how good the defense was. We still don't have players like AJ Boye out there. So I guess, like, how much better could we be?
Or Von Miller,
but we're not going to get him back this year. We're not going to get him back this year.
I know, but like we don't have him. Like,
what if we had?
I know we're not going to get him back, but
still,
we don't.
What if we had another impressive rookie? Yeah. What if we had another impressive rookie like Justin Stranad out there playing like Michael Ojemudia at inside linebacker? I'm not saying he necessarily would have gotten there, but he was another guy we were all really excited to see. Yeah. And it's just a lot of missing pieces on this defense, and I think it speaks to what we've been talking about all season. They're really well coached.
Absolutely. I think right now we're starting to see, because, like, let's be honest too, okay? Like, the first 4 games of the year, let's consider that preseason in a way, because usually you have 4 games of practice, or of 4 weeks of like games to go and practice the stuff, right? So right now, I think all teams in the NFL are finally finding their stride. And the fact that we're coming off 2 wins, that's really promising against, like, ultimately, I mean, one was the Jets, so whatever, that's a win. But the Patriots, that's a legitimate win to have, man. Like, and then a close game in the Steelers, like
the close games in the Steelers. That's exactly it.
Get blown out by the Bucks, but I mean, like, the Packers got blown out by the Bucks, which is
worse than we did. Yeah,
worse than we did. So I think at the end of the day, the momentum is in the right place. The players are finally getting healthy. The ones that were getting hurt early. I mean, we take away Sutton and Miller's like season-ending injury, but the other guys, man, like we're finally getting some momentum and rolling here. So it's like we're a big game this weekend, but after that, man, Chargers, Falcons, Raiders, Dolphins, that could be 4 wins right there.
Yeah.
So it's exciting right now. Like the team's finally getting the momentum on their end. So we should definitely fire Fangio.
Right. Yeah. No, that's
and John Elway and Drew Lock.
Oh my God.
But
trade for Matt
Let's
Ryan.
tank for the rest of the season.
So
Trade
it's
for
worth
Matt
making-
Ryan and Julio Jones.
it's worth making fun of at this point, right?
Straight up, huh?
So, you just said it there, Matt. Yeah, we beat the Jets, but if you look at the Pro Football Focus scores, we played better according to their rankings than we did against the Jets.
Yeah.
And that says something. It's not like we barely beat the Patriots. We came out and played a really good, solid game.
And the Titans, like that was a close game. And they're one of 3 undefeated teams still right now. Like that's it.
I think we've played also 3 of the top 10 scoring offenses in the NFL. Yeah, and we're allowing 22 points per game right now. So it's, everything's kind of been a work in progress. And I think we, and maybe not we specifically, but a lot of people in Broncos country got just concerned when everything they expected to see coming out of the weirdest preseason that wasn't, it just didn't happen right away. Drew Lock wasn't ready to be QB1 in all situations right away. The defense wasn't playing lights out football right away. And we are where we are. We're 2-3 right now, but this is, clearly, I think, proven itself to be a team that can be as dangerous as anybody come November and December if we keep improving at this rate.
I can't see how we wouldn't. Now, Red Cloud does say, red zone troubles are back. And, there were a couple times, obviously, that one that went through Okuwebenom's hands. I mean,
well, but
rookie,
let's think about this, though, because he didn't have a full season last year. This is his first game back after, short beginning, no preseason.
Yeah.
I mean,
we
still got us down. We still worked down the field.
Yeah.
I'm glad Philip Lindsay was back helping with that. But, he's still, if you looked away from the TV and looked back up, we're in the red zone. Did we capitalize on that? No. But we're still there. Close. We didn't punt it away every time. I mean, if they would have been touchdowns instead of field goals, which they easily can be.
And I think
I didn't think you do that bad. I don't think. No. I don't know.
The Patriots also have the reigning defensive player of the year on their roster, and they also have a very strong, disciplined, stingy defense, even though they have a lot of backup players in there. So it's not that concerning to me that the red zone was kind of shaky because Ayla's point, we're all coming back. The red zone is some of the hardest plays or it's the hardest region to be an efficient offense in because you don't have the depth of the field. You can't use your full playbook. And, we have Freeman as a power back, but you're also missing Melvin Gordon, who I think is pretty good in the red zone.
And who's been playing, you know?
Exactly. So I think, this week it was just we capitalized on opportunities. All the kicks went in. It was across the board. When they had to score, they scored. Made the most of it, and next week, watch the red zone get better. Over time, Shermer's going to expand the playbook. He's going to find what went wrong and make it better. It is what it is.
I hate to even say it, but a few years ago when McManus kept messing up all the time, I was so glad when he was off for a while, and then I'm like, why'd you bring him back? And now I'm like, thank you for coming back.
Right, yeah. No, I've said, yeah.
Because I'd be like, Mick can't kick for shit.
Well,
and now I'm like, thank you for doing your job, and can we pay you more?
Right, yeah.
So, Robert here, David, you and I didn't get a chance to listen to the announcers, thankfully, and apparently we did better than them because we can actually pronounce Okuwebenom, and it didn't take that much practice. So, hey, if you don't want to listen to those terrible announcers, just tune in when David and I call the games live. The next one's going to be November 8th against the Falcons. So, nice. I don't want to say a for sure win, but it's kind of like playing the Jets, It's a for sure win. I don't want to jinx us. But,
I don't know. The Vikings just got it handed to them. Now the Vikings aren't very good.
Kirk Cousins threw 3 picks in the first half, man. Of course you're gonna beat that. Kirk Cousins looks like a dumpster fire, man. And they have rookies in their secondary, and the Vikings are kind of rebuilding right now.
What happened to the Vikings? Well, we can. That's the Coming just
That's a
soon
different
to
show.
the Orange Weekly show, the Vikings podcast.
The purple
Yeah.
weekly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, check David and I out, us out next time we're calling the game live, and you don't have to listen to those crappy announcers.
We will always say Albert
Try to clean
Okuwebanam
it,
correctly.
Albert Okuwebanam. Jose, Patrick keeps wowing on those catches. So, yeah, he's wowing on those catches, but you also got to look at how well Drew Lock is throwing. Yeah, he had those 2 bad picks. One was miscommunication. The other was, hey, he's a gunslinger. That's what you're going to see sometimes. But
so that last pick, Kevin, not to cut you off, but that last pick, the one you're talking about where the DB like just jumped up and caught it. Yeah, like I'm sorry, but Locke threw the ball exactly where he had to be.
Yeah.
The receiver needs to fight for that. He didn't even fight for it. The DB deserved that pick because he went all out. Like that receiver. Like, if we had Sutton, I think that Sutton wins that matchup. But he's right. Tim Patrick has been playing really, really well, man.
He's been playing
He's
great.
taken over that role exceptionally well, and he doesn't look like he did in the last few years. He looks like a legitimate starting receiver.
And I'll give this to Drew Lock because on the first interception, it sure looked like they miscommunicated to me.
They did.
He said after the game, did Lock, that it was totally on him, and that if he had thrown the ball correctly where he had been all game, Patrick would have gotten it. But Patrick was clearly running a different route than he thought he was going to, and so I think. But credit to Lock for sticking up for his receiver and putting that on himself instead. Lock's ball placement really, really impressed me throughout the game. A couple of those sideline throws to Patrick, which we saw him do that exact same play to Patrick last season too. But Patrick has really stepped up in the absence of Cortland Sutton and been super reliable on a super young offense. We've seen like guys like Okuwebanam, who maybe is, thrust into action for the first time and just maybe the moment's a little bit bigger than he thought it would be, has a couple of good catches, and then a couple of moments where you say to him, man, an NFL tight end's got to make that catch when you get your hands on it. But those are going to come, right? It's absolutely going to come for a young player like that. It's going to come for guys like Jerry Jeudy who, don't get the best thrown ball to them, but they get their hands on it and don't come down with it in the end zone.
Yeah.
Like you guys, that's why I'm not really concerned as much about this red zone offense right now. Those guys are so young. Patrick being really, really reliable, but outside of him, everybody's trying to learn together on this offense, and so those touchdowns are going to come.
Absolutely, they're 100% going to come. I mean, my appreciation comes in the play calling with those deep balls, but like the guts for him to go for it, because it could be this completely relying on the running game or short passes, but they're going for it. I mean, and a pick's going to happen out of that. I mean, it's inevitable because it is a battle for it, and less experience, a little smaller guy or whatever the circumstance, but it's going to start connecting, and we only needed a couple of them, but I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, once we get Drew Lock's, I think we can say at this point, especially with Cortland Sutton out, Drew Lock's favorite red zone target, Noah Fant, back. That production's also going to happen.
Right? There's another one we're missing. Like, get out of here. So many guys.
Yeah. And
we're still holding it together somewhat.
Right. We're going into the early time slot on the East Coast and winning against the Patriots.
Fire Fangio, man. Get rid of it.
Fire Fangio. Hashtag Fire Fangio.
Yeah.
No, you're exactly right. I mean, this team, we keep saying it has so much potential, but now we're starting to see it, And I can't remember who said it just a little bit ago, talking about the youth. Angela here. Wonder how many vets are going to move on by the end of the year. Too early to tell, but if we can keep most of those vets and this team gets the experience, the youth experience that they're getting, I mean, you're talking about a team that 3, 4, 5+ years down the road is going to be phenomenal. And while injuries suck and you lose those starting players, it absolutely sucks. Here you are getting those second, third string guys game starting experience, a lot of game time experience that they probably wouldn't get if those starters were out there. So now you're just creating a team with even better and more experienced depth that is definitely going to pay off in the long run. So
consider that, like, the Broncos have 4 players above the age of 40, above the age of 30 on their team, and one of them is DeMar Dotson, who's on a 1-year contract, Kareem Jackson, who's still playing really well. I'll expect him to stay a while, and then Sam Martin, your punter. There's not a whole lot of like aged veterans here. There's a few guys above 29, but notably Brandon McManus and Shelby Harris. And Shelby Harris, defensive and offensive linemen get better with age.
Yeah,
they're
well,
like running backs, receivers. So I honestly think, man, that like some of these vets, they're still kind of young, which is like rare to see on a team. It's the youngest
like
roster,
5-6 years.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And boy, I
There's
would
a
love,
lot of wear in those tires, guys.
and I would love to see Shelby Harris come back next season, but
Oh yeah,
he
great.
and Justin
Right?
Simmons,
I know. Can we just
and
like
Garrett
be so
Bowles-
grateful that he's back in
Right.
those hands? Like,
Absolutely, yeah. But it's gonna be a crunch at the end of this season. I don't want to get too far ahead, but Garrett Bowles is going to be looking for a new contract. There's going to be now a lot of chatter to re-sign him. Justin Simmons, do you
as
put
long
the
as he can
franchise
keep
tag
it
on him again?
together. As
Yeah,
long as he can keep
Absolutely,
it together.
absolutely.
I
Yeah,
mean, why
you
would
gotta
you
put
think
it,
otherwise at this point?
you
I
know.
mean, I don't know, Kev. Maybe
He's
because we've seen otherwise,
Yeah, he's
But-
got 3 years of holding, and then five games,
and then
of
a third of a season of not yet. Like,
Yeah.
let's
I'm
just
not-
let's
let's
just get
say-
a couple more games into
Sure.
it. Show up on the ratings a couple more times.
Let's say really quickly, hypothetically, the season ends today. Do you re-sign Garrett Bowles?
Oh, I hate
like how
these.
what
Well, yes.
what comfortable level are you with him?
I'm super upset that I didn't pick up his 5th-year option. That's what I am. Super duper upset.
Super
duper.
Obviously,
Here's the
but
thing.
that's what I'm saying is, he continues to play like this, and he's going to have a bad game or two. Like, it's going to have, everyone has it, right?
Yeah.
But I can't see how you wouldn't jeopardize that right side or the left side now that's all of a sudden getting really strong and reliable in protecting the quarterback. And
Here's the
so
one thing, though, I would say, because every year there's always a tackle that becomes a free agent and he resets the market. Like, remember when Nate Solder went
Oh,
from
yeah.
the Giants and he signed this huge deal? Nate Solder's like, he's not like
Nate Solder is worse than Garrett Bowles.
yes,
Straight
and
up.
So, but
Yeah.
of course, but I mean, if Garrett Bowles he will become a free agent. He's going to set the tackle market. So, I think so too. Like Jose, I think that's absolutely a good point. It motivated him in a way. And if you could franchise Bowles, that'd be fantastic. Simmons deserves to be re-signed, but to re-sign Bowles to an extension, to like he's going to set the tackle market, all these things. I'm just hesitant to do so because I don't know if he's going to keep it up. On your post-game podcast, when you talk about how there's no fans and that may be impacting his play and taking some pressure off of him,
maybe, but
maybe. I'm just saying I'm not fully sold yet. Right, I
I don't know. Yeah, but maybe
And
the
I'm a guy-
not signing, but
I'm a guy with a picture of his frog on my wall. Okay, I'm not like clearly not fully sane, and I just don't. Garrett Bowles signing, I'm like, not sure yet.
A frog puppet, not just a frog. A frog puppet.
Puppet.
Yeah.
alright?
in a football jersey.
And
a football jersey. Yep.
And to Angela's point, I don't know that it was necessarily. I don't think the coaching staff viewed it as an issue about Garrett Bowles' learning challenges, which he's been very open and upfront about. I don't think that was so much the problem. It was not an ability to learn issue. It would seem more like a willingness to learn issue,
It's a psychology thing, with him.
right? And a willingness to apply himself to actually getting better. But to his credit, whatever those issues were, he has moved past them in a big way so far this season.
So far,
Can-
this year he has, yeah.
Can I just say that, hey, these comments, all these positive ones about Garrett Bowles and how we need to, re-sign him and how he's,
Kevin loves you guys.
No, well, I'm just saying, like, if you had told me at the beginning of the season that we'd be having these kinds of conversations seriously, I would have laughed at you hysterically.
I wouldn't.
And-
No, you wouldn't have, because you've always been pro Bowls. Pro Bowls.
That,
No, that was funny. But
That-
I was as
that's
pro
not right.
Bowles
You were
as Jared was pro
but you were
Flacco.
no, but you were positive about it and like give him a chance, kind of thing.
Oh, I think at that point, I mean, I was calling him Garrett Holds even to, the start of this season.
Well,
I was like, let's
everybody
get
was.
his name
That's not
back for a game or
original.
two.
Everybody was. You did have a light about it, Kev.
I just don't think it's.
We'll go back through and I'll point it out. I'll find the time
Do
and
it.
second that you
Do
said it.
You
This is
won't.
a mother you're speaking to. She knows everything, remembers everything. Like, don't
Do
fuck
it.
with her, man. She's got
Do
those
it.
superpowers.
Especially when I'm like having cocktails. I totally remember.
See?
It's a thing.
Jose's right. man.
I'm
Garrett's
almost
ball.
pro Bowls.
You're pro balls.
He's pro puff balls.
Just
See
balls
what I
and
did
balls.
there?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Everybody
why you
should
guys
be.
have me. That's why you guys have me here.
This is why.
This is exactly why we have you here. That's also why I have Scotch here too.
Well, now, as we're talking about bowls, shall we start to transition a little bit from the week that we just saw to the week that we're about to see?
Totally.
Bowls has a matchup against Frank Clark, and we've got, we've seen the Kansas City pass rush be productive in spurts. The defense has kind of been really up and down this season, but what do you guys think? Is that a favorable matchup in ways that it hasn't been for us in recent years?
Against Frank Clark?
Yeah. Garrett Bowles on Frank Clark?
The name sounds scary for what it is, but maybe the new Bulls will have a new year.
It's a good,
right, Kev? Yeah.
Robert's my guy right there. He
Scott.
gets me. He gets me. No, not you. Robert gets me.
All right. You and Ron Burgundy.
But also,
Scotch.
You were on a good point there, Ayla, too. I'll give you that.
All right.
David, to your point, man, like, I think Frank Clark he's a good starting defensive end. Like, he fits the system really well. Spagnuolo knows how to deploy him.
Mm-hmm.
I think the big thing with the Chiefs defense is just that eventually you're going to have to start throwing deep. Eventually you're going to have to play catch up, or at least if you get a lead, you're going to have to keep it fast, right? So at some point that pass rush is just going to start like firing on all cylinders. And Bowles' big thing is, I think, is his weight and his feet. So I think Clark's going to get the best of him once or twice. But honestly, the way he's playing this year, he played a great game against the Steelers, who has a phenomenal defense. The Titans, same thing. So I think you'll have the best of Frank Clark this week. I don't think Frank Clark is necessarily an exceptional player, but I just think overall the Chiefs defense will get to. What I'm worried about, though, is that other guy, Chris Jones, in the middle. Good Lord, he can pass rush.
And just kind of like the reverse of what we saw this last week against New England, where they had starting players on their offensive line out, and our defensive line was able to capitalize. Chris Jones against who's ever playing left guard. Dalton Reisner sounds like he's going to be really questionable, probably not going to play. Austin Schlottman is going to go in probably as the backup, and he's a capable backup guard, but that is a huge test. Yeah,
even Derek Nottie, like the interior of this Chiefs defense is like, it's solid, especially against the pass. So I'm not too worried about the tackles in this game. I'm really more worried about that middle of the line, rookie center and all that.
Cushenberry played his best game against the Patriots, but it's the kind of game very much where you were still seeing him have some things that he needs to build on, and that's a tough matchup against that interior Chiefs line.
We talk about rookie quarterbacks struggling. Like, rookie centers are kind of quarterbacks that don't throw in a lot of ways, man. There's a lot of responsibility on that guy's shoulders, physically, mentally. Like, he's got to call plays on the line protection. He's got to be, him and Locke need to be like in sync. So Cushenberry is, he's learning as much as he can, as fast as he can. But man, he's going to be tested this upcoming week.
Yeah.
Well, do you guys think, for his sake, getting to play with other quarterbacks so far, do you think that's helped him as a learning thing?
For sure.
It wouldn't hurt, to say the least. Yeah.
And I think if anything, it might give him some confidence, because if your starting quarterback's always in, you always know you rely on the guy to make like the real kind of calls, right? But now that you have a backup, Cushenberry's got to step up, right? So it's a fantastic experience for him to take the reins of the line and the protections. So I'm still very high on this guy.
Yeah.
Like, I really think that he's going to be a phenomenal center, and he had his best game against the Pats. This is what happens.
Yeah,
no, he's not as fast as Ruggs.
So no, but we did see Jerry Jeudy was fairly quiet, and I attribute that to he was covered really well, and they were making sure they locked him down. But to Robert's, I guess, point here that I want to ask is, how many times do you still try to get to Jerry Jeudy, especially with how accurate we've seen Drew Lock be on his first game back there, just to make sure that they're not letting him go easy or whatnot,
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think if he matches up against Ward, who got exposed a bit against the Bills, you're like, the Chiefs beat the Bills, but Ward was a liability for that defense. I think the matchups are really there for Jeudy. I don't really see him going deep, but I see him playing within like those 20 yards, the mid-range, really well.
Well, and if KJ Hamler's back for the Broncos offense this week, that's who you've got doing your Henry Ruggs things if you're Pat Shurmur. Because he's almost as fast as Ruggs. I don't know if he's got. He's all right. So he's
right.
Right. He's got that speed. They're both on the same level of speed, and he's a young guy, but we saw him have success with some of the younger quarterbacks. We saw Rippon go to him a couple of times. We saw Driscoll find him in that Steelers game a couple of times. He did not look lost on the games that he was able to play. So if he can go against Kansas City, that's going to give this offense a whole other dimension as far as vertical threats, as long as they can protect inside. Yeah.
I think he's a key player here. Even Hamilton, if you gain Hamilton and him on the field now, don't throw the ball to Hamilton, but get both Handler and Hamilton to at least take the top off.
Yeah.
If you send them both deep, get the safeties to be accountable for him, it opens up Judy, and hopefully Fant will be back, and Okuwebanam and all that. So,
I mean, what if you get the
Nice,
speed of
Matt.
like Hamler and Hamilton in a 2 tight end set with Alberto and Noah Fant? Like, what? That's just a good offensive coordinator should be able to make problems for a defense with personnel like that.
You have the personnel to do so. Man.
Yeah.
Even like the running back matchups, like that's another good one against Hitchens and who's the other starting middle? Damian Wilson. Like we can have the matchups there. The thing is with the Chiefs, eventually you're gonna have to play catch up or keep up. Like it's
Well,
and I
Yeah, you're not
you're right.
gonna fall way behind and then expect to run up on them.
And
you're
I
right.
think,
But sorry, go
ahead.
David.
Well, I think this is why you see in the advanced metrics the Chiefs have a really, really good pass defense and a really bad rush defense. They play from ahead a lot, which allows their pass rushers to pin their ears back and get after the quarterbacks. And I think that allows them to have a really highly rated pass defense. If you know what the other offense has to do in order to keep up with you,
and then,
it makes it a lot easier.
Evidence of that, though, the Bills barely ran against them.
Right.
And they lost. Like
And
if
Go ahead.
The Raiders ran well with Josh Jacobs. I mean, I think he's better than the Bills running backs, but still, like you need to run against the Chiefs to at least tire the defense out and then open up your passing game.
And but we also saw the Raiders go deep a bunch of times effectively, and I think what we saw, they were able to set that up with a really effective run game.
Because that's the way that the team is built, man. They're a power run offense with vertical threats.
Yeah.
And they're not trying to hide that. They're very explicit about it. And I think they do that because they want to beat the Chiefs. If you want to win, if you want to make the playoffs and win this division, you have to beat the Chiefs. And they're built to beat them with a power run game and guys like Ruggs. Tyrell Williams, unfortunately, hurt, but he's another threat. Darren Waller's a fantastic tight end as well. So, but we have those guys too.
And that's what you saw this last weekend is how aggressive we were and how willing we were to go deep and take those chances. And it keeps coming back to Drew Lock's first game back since he went out first quarter essentially of game 2 there. He came back out and looked like he hadn't missed a beat, right? So we showed that, hey, right off the bat, we're not starting slow. We're not easing into this. First down, we'll run. Second down, boom, bomb down the field. And we're going to do that all game. And I think that, to some degree, Belichick wasn't expecting that. And I think that Kansas City should expect it from us this next game.
Better.
Yeah,
if they're
absolutely.
watching us, because they are. I mean, I know Reed watches our show.
They have to be. I mean,
yeah.
They're on a mission, and everybody's mission is always to beat the Broncos, even if we've been.
Yeah.
Steve. Yeah, no, it won't cut it. Absolutely not. And we were lucky that it did barely, but the fact of the matter is we still made it to the red zone for most of those, but there was only 2 of them were long kicks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And here's the thing, the Kansas City offense has done something really interesting this year, and I feel like it's almost an adjustment by Andy Reid to the adjustment that he foresaw other teams trying to make to him, which was, if you're going to go ball control, run heavy offense on me, I'm going to do it to you. I'm going to grind the clock out on you and, score 3 rushing touchdowns in a game. And then if somehow we're close at the end of it, I'll still go quick strike and put 2 touchdowns up in the span of 2.5 minutes on you because we still have Patrick Mahomes.
Let's talk about, that's a great segue, man, because let's talk about the guy who's going to make his showing against the Broncos and the Chiefs with Mr. Le'Veon Bell. Okay. His experiment with the Jets was just to make money. He went there to make $40 million and leave. And by God, I respect him so much for doing that because I would have done the same thing. Literally.
I mean, you look at an organization that's willing to hire Adam Gase, and then you say, all right, I can bilk them for a few $1 million. That's great.
It's a steal, man. Good for him. He did, a good business move. Now he signed with the Chiefs for $1 million. Like, he's
Yeah.
there to win. We're going to see Le'Veon Bell come out in his Steelers form, man. And, like, with him and then Clyde Edwards-Helaire,
Yeah. Oh, and that's I don't know that you're going to see a whole lot of Bell. Honestly, if Edwards-Helaire plays the way he did against Buffalo last night, like they're going to have to carry him off the field kicking and screaming.
how about
He
you
was
put both
really,
on the
really
field?
effective.
Splitter or freaking our linebackers. Was it you or Jared saying that Josie Jewell's going to die? Like, you know what I mean? It's if you have Bell and Edwards-Helaire on there, like both players can run extremely well between the tackles.
Yeah.
Two different styles, but kind of similar. Both players can catch the ball out of the backfield. Both players have top speed. Like, this is going to be very like. Sorry, I know it's a Broncos show, but it's going to be a really fun offense to watch because now at any given time, who's going to get the ball? Like Kelsey, Hill, Nico,
Right.
Hart,
Well,
Bell,
to some
Edwards.
degree, could you say the same thing about the Broncos?
Yeah, to some degree, but
To some degree, but it's not like, last couple of years where we had almost nobody, or we had Philip Lindsay and Cortland Sutton. And that was kind of it.
Yeah, that's like saying like compared to kids you're tall, but compared to adults you're short. You know what I mean? Like to some degree you're tall. But,
well, not Kevin, but
that's what
It is. I hate you. I hate you all.
I didn't say anything.
Ayla, this is now the Kevin and Ayla show. Because you don't make fun of me for not being short anyway.
You said the post game show was the least fun show.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, let the listeners decide. Go
Seriously,
listen to the
Kevin, we're not
post game
getting back into
podcast and
that.
see.
We're not getting back into that one. Jeez
I'm
Louise.
just saying. Just go listen to the podcast, everyone.
One thing I think, as far as a little wrinkle we might see from Fangio this week, is we saw it a couple of times against the Patriots. The Broncos subbed out Josie Jewell for Duke Dawson to have a sixth defensive back on the field instead of two inside linebackers.
Yeah,
we might see a whole lot of that against Kansas
we're going to
City.
see a lot of that, and I think
Robert and I are on the same page, same height and everything, man. I got you.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm 5'8" on a good day too.
The other thing that killed me since you're here, Kev, when you said I can't, like that guy can, like he can jump 2 feet higher than I can. I was like, yeah, everybody can, man. Like, fucking killed me. Anyways, I digress.
Don't give away all the best parts of the post game podcast, man.
Those are the best parts. Go listen.
My 2-year-old just jumped 2 feet too.
No, to your point about the DBs though, I think like that's something that a lot of defenses are doing. I think that the Chargers really made it popular like 3 years ago when they just started lining. They had 7 DBs on the field, and it was like you couldn't pass on them, and they were very disciplined against the run. Like and they sort of a lot of teams copied that. I think the Broncos have the personnel for it. We're definitely going to see like an extra safety come in the box instead of a linebacker. We're not going to have a choice. I mean, that is what it is. And even like with Edwards-Helaire, like his advantage is he's 5'7" as a running back. We watched.
Sounds short.
He's very short. He's also a professional athlete, Kev. So you know what? Like,
He could still jump just completely over you, not 2 feet higher than you. He could hurdle you while you're standing.
I asked for that one.
Yeah.
I asked for that one. That's on me.
In your platform shoes.
In my platform shoes. Right, David?
That's right. Absolutely. Kevin's platform shoes with the fantasy victory this week, by the way. Oh,
Hurdle
that's on
over
track.
him in his platform shoes. Like,
Speaking of fantasy, I'm pissed at Ayla's husband. I'm also pissed that my bench
he
was
won his
phenomenal.
first game of the year. Like,
Yeah, and I got like
knock
80
it off.
points.
Second, because he also beat the crap out of me. Okay.
Okay.
what's really nice? Ayla was chirping me that she was going to beat me in fantasy, and I beat her. And then
You did barely. Don't
Dolphins.
even act like you
Rough.
smashed me all up.
Yeah,
I'm at the top of the league, and you barely beat
I
me.
got you. I beat you by 2, but then I smoked your husband. I'm like, man, it feels like both of them, both doors.
Close those doors.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you barely beat me, and who's winning the league? Knock it off.
Actually, auto draft is winning the league. So
Okay, but I'm
And
like
I
a
beat
close
auto
second to
draft,
auto draft. So, Kevin.
Auto draft also.
They probably
kicks the
had
crap out
bye
of
week
me.
players. Knock it
No,
off.
Matt kept it updated. Matt put in the best
Matt.
lineup.
You're playing in 2? Oh.
no, I just update the roster.
You have to just let it play on its bye weeks. That's the only. Well,
Then everybody's gonna beat it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would like to have beaten it. Okay, Jesus.
everybody.
I think the
know,
auto draft
Kevin.
like hung 175
By the way,
points on me.
It's not a. It's
I think
not
it did.
Yeah.
It's a frog. It's Kermit Mahomes the Frog.
It's Kermit the Frog in a Mahomes jersey.
It's a $500 million poster. I'll just say.
Stop it.
No, Matt did an auto draft. There was an extra team we needed, and we let that auto draft, and that one's winning. So
and it's like the best team. He's got Kyler Murray, Derrick Henry. Who else? The team like Waller, I think. I don't know. It's just like a stacked team for some reason.
It is stacked.
It's insane
because it picked number one every time. That's a pick the next man up. Like that's why it's not like some mystery of why it's good.
And your husband would win more games if you would have picked Lamar Jackson instead of Tom Brady. But I'm just saying.
It's okay. He was proud of me for picking Gardner Minshew.
He was the only one proud of you for getting Gardner Minshew was like, somebody drafted me? What?
Yes. I'm the 1% for his.
I am the 1%.
Yeah, I am the 1%.
So, kind of maybe moving a little bit back to Broncos football, just a little bit there. We did see the entire Broncos coaching staff out-coach Bill Belichick and McDoucheface and everyone they have there, right? So,
doesn't it feel so sweet to beat him too?
Oh,
like,
God, yeah.
hate you. Thanks for nothing.
Don't miss you.
Don't miss
Definitely
you.
Don't miss you.
So
God.
Because
nobody thought we would win.
Well,
it's like seeing your ex and you're just like in way better shape than they are, and your life's going really
and you're
well.
You realize how much younger you are than them, and you're like, God, why did I like you? You're so old.
Yeah, and they're looking at too.
I mean, whiskey to deal with you guys.
Matt's dry spell notwithstanding here.
Anyway, this is escalating really fast.
We've had a little bit to drink.
Kevin, who's more fun?
Well, you are.
I know.
And then David, because we're Team Puffball.
Yeah,
right.
but
we do have a third member of Team Puffball if you want to listen to the post-game podcast and find out who that is.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Nice, good. Nobody wants to be Team Visor. Are you kidding?
Why would you want to be Team Visor? Like, even if you wear a visor, you're not going to join a team.
Why do you want to wear a visor? Like,
oh, my head's
golf.
protected, but it's not.
One word, golf. It's the best. When you have this much hair and you're like trying to sport it up while being covered, golf is a perfect sport for a visor. That's my only thing.
I think it's a perfect market for the introduction of some puffball hats. Give people an alternative to the visor.
Team Visor is serving our country on the open seas right now, so can't make fun of him too much tonight when he comes back.
I'm not going to make fun of him, but I can make fun of his choice of hat.
Well, that's fair.
That's fair. He can sail his ship right to my driveway, and I'll stop making fun of him.
So what does the Broncos coaching staff have to do to at least hang tough with the Chiefs? All their coaching staff outcoach them as well. Because, I mean, we did it against Bill Belichick. I mean, that's got to say something.
It's a little bit of a different Megillah when you're looking at the Chiefs coaching staff plus the Chiefs skill position players, which the New England Patriots don't. I mean, they have maybe a bottom 10 skill position player in the league, I think. But yeah, it's a totally different matchup for this coaching staff when they've got to figure out what to do against all these different guys.
I mean, we saw them do some KC crap. I mean, Dave and I coined that term over the weekend, So they're starting to get a little creative there. Yeah, trademarked, Orange Weekly trademark KC crap. Yep. And it worked.
I tell you, Kev, that I think the big advantage we may have is the fact that last week a lot of the offensive linemen were hurt for KC, and it showed. Like the Bills were in the backfield a bunch. Although Edwards-Helaire ran for like over 160 yards or whatever it was, like there was still some good plays by that Bills defense where they were, shutting down the run. And overall, I think we can exploit those weaknesses. If Harris can have a good matchup against the backup center, if even Alex Johnson can get in the backfield a little bit, like those are the weaknesses that we can exploit. Overall, though, I mean, to David's point, man, it's a different beast. Like Bill Belichick and Cam Newton and a ragtag group of skill positions, like it's different than Reed and Mahomes and the rest of the starting offense.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a different thing. But I if we play a disciplined game, limit the penalties, and we can actually score in the red zone and not have stupid drops like Hamilton did, we're going to be very competitive.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
they're two different
The
beasts. But
the
when you can
penalty
outcoach
thing-
Bill Belichick, that says a lot about your coaching staff and where you're at that level.
Absolutely.
I think the penalty thing alone is always a big factor and will be in this game. It's going to have to, because out coaching them or anything, like being clean about it, not letting them have anything easy. I think that's going to be a huge part of it, which they did a good job of last game.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Ayla. I think if we're able to get in Mahomes' face a few times, rattle him a little bit, which
watch out for your kneecaps, right?
Right.
Oh, easy.
Yeah.
Don't say that.
Don't dislocate a kneecap again.
You are right about that, man. This is
because it wasn't his knee. There was commentators last time. It's like it's dislocated his knee. It was his kneecap, which is still terrible. But if it was his knee, it would have been done. But it's like, no, we still hurt him.
I dislocated my kneecap, man, and that sucks. When I saw him go down, I was like, okay, I feel it.
Yeah.
Although the difference is, I'm not a gajillionaire, so it took me 6-7 weeks to get back, and it took him 4 minutes. So
yeah, true.
Good. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's the whole organization and the trainers and them. You didn't have all that.
Rehab and the millions of dollars. Yeah, whoops.
Speaking of guys that could come back, Draymond Jones, defensive lineman, is a guy, second-year player who looks like he could be back for this game. DeMarcus Walker also, and I think we've talked about AJ Boye, haven't we? I think we've talked about him being eligible.
we brought him up, yeah.
Yeah,
but not the timeline of when he would be back, so that would be great.
I think he's available this week, and so those are just some defensive reinforcements that we can, some defensive reinforcements we can count on to help us out. So, if the defense continues to show the improvement they have with these young players, it could be a harder day for the Chiefs than, maybe they only win by scoring 24 points or something.
If we can stay competitive and scare them, I think that's a win in itself. The thing with the Broncos too, Fangio's cover 4 scheme is a great one to match up against this deep ball team with the Chiefs, right? The way that his defense executes that cover 4 is with high discipline, and it's sort of, they'll drop 4 back, but then they play man once the receivers come up, right? So, if we can just lock down Hill, that's one win on its own. I'm kind of worried about Travis Kelce and these linebackers, and now with Bell and Edwards-Helaire. It's going to be a matter of just try get to Mahomes before he can get to whoever's open. But listen, if we can put up 20 on the Chiefs, 24 points on the Chiefs, I think we got a good chance. Yeah, Steve, that's a good point.
I think our defense can hold them to that 24 to 27 range. And you saw how many times we got in the red zone this last time. We get a couple touchdowns there. We are right there with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we absolutely will see an improvement in red zone production this week. How big of an improvement? If we see, if we go from 0 to 3 touchdowns in the red zone, then we have a shot to score 30 points. If we go from 0 to 1 touchdown in the red zone and, then score 23 points instead of 18, you're not going to beat the Chiefs.
I think you got to shoot for at least 1 a quarter and just make that a goal.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Oh, an upset would be fantastic. That'd be really cool.
I know, and everybody and keep doubting us like that. It's for me, when you're an underdog, you've got everything to win. So.
Oh yeah, that's a great point, Ayla. The Broncos have nothing to lose in this game. Everybody's counting them out. Everybody's got the Chiefs to win, and with reason. If we're just looking at this unbiasly, the Chiefs are favored here. They're
Super Bowl champions.
But that's the thing. We're the underdog, but we're the underdog with potential, with an actual chance at the same time. You
don't have anything to lose here. You're supposed to lose against the Chiefs, so just play balls out and just fire away and just do everything you can. Play as though it's the last game of the season.
Then do it again this time, for another game of a little consistency and camaraderie. And they played together last week pretty well. They've got a little momentum. Just pile it on again.
Yeah. See, they all had the Pats winning. I think I was surprised to see the Broncos win against the Pats. Honestly,
who wasn't?
Pleasantly surprised. Man, if they beat the Chiefs, David will eat his hat. That's
No. He
I already
might eat
owe-
a different hat, but not that hat.
No, not this hat.
That one is special.
He'll eat his shoe or something. I don't
Okay,
know.
that's fair.
I already
Bart
owe the
Simpson
Orange
out
Weekly
and eat
staff
my
one hat.
shorts.
Oh, that's right. So, I'll do something crazy if we win, though. Absolutely. Like I can't really predict what insane thing
How
I
about a
might
whole
do.
block of cheese?
Oh my god,
That's a lot of cheese.
that is a lot of cheese.
That's a lot of. Now, are we
Oof.
talking like within a week time period or
No,
like an
no.
hour? Because
Like, okay, not an hour, but like an
Have
afternoon
you ever seen-
of cheese.
Like I-25 gap traffic when there's a car accident in one lane because
I
that's how
have
blocked.
actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was last week when I was driving home.
It's this level of blockage that I'm anticipating when I eat this much cheese. And
I think
just,
Orange Weekly has just hit a new low. Like this
Oh.
is. I don't think we've ever gone.
All right,
we've ever
let's-
gone here, but
Oh boy. Huh.
let's hope they win. Hey,
This is what the viewers stay for. They come for the football talk, but this is what you want.
But they stayed for the
This is
cheese
true.
block.
This is true.
Cheers,
okay,
Rock.
before we oh,
Oof.
geez. Before we go around the room with some closing thoughts, hey everyone, once again, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget our post-game podcast. We also have our pre-game podcast coming out here in the next couple days. iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, wherever you listen to your podcast, more than likely we're there. So all your support, tuning in, watching, posting comments, those are all awesome. If you want to help us out just a little more, go give us a 5-star review, a rating on any of those platforms, or give us a 5-star rating and review on Facebook as well. Make sure you also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Orange Weekly. And just, in addition to the podcast, we got the Monday night Orange Weekly After Dark. This show every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. We have the pregame show and the halftime hash. Guys, we are the only fan-based football podcast out there that does an actual halftime show every single game. I think that I haven't even heard of anyone or seen, and I follow, I like watch other, pages to see what they do and get ideas, but I think that's our claim to fame right there. So don't listen to the announcers at halftime. When you get up to go get a beer or snacks or whatever, go on Facebook, go on Twitter. I guarantee you we will be live at the start of halftime, and we will talk with you during that period before the third quarter comes back on. So David and I will be at Colorado Cork and Keg on November 8th against the Falcons. If you want to come on up or come on down if you're in Denver, to Castle Rock, Colorado, right off the Wolfensburg exit of I-25 there. Great place. They have good food, good drinks, just a great atmosphere, and they're only open on Sundays for Broncos games. So, pretty dedicated Broncos fans themselves. So coming out there on November 8th, and Ragers. I almost forgot it again. Ragers podcast comes out on Saturdays. If you're interested in sports betting, if you like to sports bet, or if you're just interested in learning about it or hearing what the sports bets for the upcoming Broncos games are, Ray won't tell you just what bets he's taken, but he'll explain why, and he'll even explain the bets he's not taken and explain why as well. So he's in the positive this year, right?
Oh yeah. And you know what? If anything else, he's hilarious. Like, just listen to the 50-minute show and have a good laugh, man. He's really funny to listen to. So that's a fantastic show. Yeah.
But you'll learn a lot from them. So I think those are all of our plugs, guys. As you can tell, we bring you a ton of Broncos content. We are not slowing down. Win, lose, or tie. We've been doing this for over 5 years now. So got a great cast, great crew, and even better fans. So thanks for tuning in. But let's go ahead and do some closing thoughts around the room, starting with Matt.
Closing thoughts, man. I don't know. I think it's going to be a fun game, competitive. I'm looking forward to see the Broncos, like what they can do against the Chiefs. And honestly, like, anything can happen. They've got nothing to lose, and just enjoy it. But otherwise, like, I don't know, man, tune into our shows and have a good time. And I love you all.
Aw, I knew you did. I was just waiting for you to admit it.
Really, I mean, I'm full of love, man. Like, I'm on a dry spell, so I'm like really full of love. Like,
Matt full of love, David full of cheese, coming soon.
one's clogged and one's about to burst. So,
Oh my God. On to you.
Yeah, I hope not.
this is why you
I'm excited to see what our defense is going to do getting other.
Kevin's out.
Later.
I'm excited for Drew Lock to have another game. I'm excited for our defense to have a few more people back in. I'm excited to keep growing this team. The momentum, I am all about it. I would love us even if we were losing, but hey, we just beat the Patriots. Now let's beat the Kansas shitty Chiefs and keep on rolling.
I think as far as what I'm looking for in this game, and we'll obviously get into it a lot more tomorrow night on the pregame podcast. Check for that on Thursday. But the score is going to matter a lot less to me than just seeing them build on the Patriots game. If they can do better on offense, especially with these really, really young guys, if they can just do a little more, if Albert Okwuegbunam can come down with one in the red zone on, a play that it might be a 50-50 ball. It might be a little bit better than that for him. But if he can make a play on a ball like that instead of dropping it this time, if we see Locke connect on two of those deep balls that were dropped,
Yeah,
two
absolutely.
more. Just, I don't want to have to see him do a 300-yard, 5-touchdown game against the Chiefs. Just one next step. And can the defense continue to build on how tough they've been playing as well?
Yep. My closing thoughts, I'm glad the show is closing because this is the lowest that we've ever gone. And
get out of here, Kevin.
I've never had to stand up and walk away before, Don't get me wrong, fucking hilarious, but
look forward to more.
That's a level, that's a level we've never gone to, and I expect the Broncos to get to that next level that they haven't gotten to yet. It's going to be fantastic.
Oh, God.
The new level?
No.
And Kevin brings corny and cheesy together to wrap everything up.
Who else is going to do it? You guys don't do it.
Well, we don't go that low.
All
right, let's get out of here.
Anyway, hey, Broncos are not out of this one. Obviously, we're the complete underdogs. Like I said before, we're underdogs, but we're not like the Jets kind of underdogs. Like there's a chance this team has life. This team is continuing to improve, and it's going to be fantastic. So yeah, everyone, check out our slew of different content that we have coming out for you guys. Thanks for watching. Ton of fans. And Matt, David, and Ayla, thanks for helping out tonight, guys. Fun stuff.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
Absolutely.
everybody.
Always a pleasure.
Cheers. Go Broncos.
Go Broncos.
Set it on a strong. Go Broncos.
Do what I like, yeah, I do what I like, yeah, I do what I like. Sipping goose, if it's right, and I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, cause I know I'm the show, in the zone, here I go.